Hello and welcome back to the channel. We've all got that one disc we really love that's in our bag that we just appreciate so much. Or 20 discs that we love, that most of which are in our bag. Or hundreds of discs that are everywhere. You know how it goes, disc golfers. I'm sure I'm not the only one here who went a little bit crazy getting discs when they first started. And by now, I've learned a few discs that I like and a few discs that I can't really use. Well, in today's video, we are going to do a disc battle. We're going to take two discs from two different manufacturers that have the same flight numbers and see how they fly. Now, theoretically, they should fly the same because they have the same flight numbers. However, they might fly different. We'll decide whether one is better than the other, or as a beginning player, should I bag it? Or as an expert player, should you bag it? What we're going to do is try our best to make it as equal as possible. Both these discs will be used or seasoned a little bit. They'll also be the same weight, and they will also be the same plastic. That way we can run it through some different tests to see if it works for us, and they fly the exact same. Each brand of discs uses different levels of plastic, and those fly differently. So these we use in the video might be different than the basic level plastic or the Tour Series plastic. But we're going to try our best. In today's video, we're going to compare two different 9-speed drivers. Why are we starting off with a 9-speed? Well, I think a 9-speed is a good speed for every disc golfer. Also, I find myself personally throwing a 9-speed off the tee most often. So I wanted to see if I was on the right track with the disc I use, or do I need to make a change? I've also picked these two discs because I've never thrown either disc before. I've got a different 9-speed driver that I use in my bag that we'll get to as the video goes. So we'll see what we've got going in this disc battle. And in today's disc battle, we are going to battle the Discraft Undertaker versus the Innova Savant. Both the Savant and the Undertaker come in with flight numbers of 9, 5, -1, 2. And in today's comparison, we're going to use the ESP plastic for the Undertaker and the Star plastic for the Savant, which are pretty similar. There is another disc with the same flight numbers, the Dynamic Disc Escape. This Dynamic Disc Escape is actually the first or second disc I ever bought new, so it's got a place in my heart. But we're going to stick to these two today, mainly because I've never thrown either one of these discs before. I had to go borrow these, and I'm excited to test these out to see if I'm on the right track with the 9-speed driver that I use, which is actually an Axiom Insanity. That's my favorite disc, but these guys are kind of like cut from the same cloth. So we'll see if I'm going to make a change or I'm going to stick with what I have. Without further ado, let's go sling some D. All right, starting the battle off with a tunnel test. I've always wanted to throw this throw. Just trying to see if I can get it through that early gap, get out there with some distance to see what the flight is, to see if the glide is too high or hit the top of that hallway there. Both of them flew through very nicely. A little more ground play on that Savant. And as you can see, the exact same distance. So there we go. Let's see if we can throw some straight shots here. Here's my Undertaker. Just going to try to throw it out there straight, nice and smooth, hopefully. Sometimes there's some user error. And that's a nice smooth flight. Got a little bit of flex out of that one. See what the Savant has to offer here. It's also straight, but a little hyzery. And both those two went the same distance on our straight test. Now I'm going to go max distance test. Try to give it the boom sauce here. See if I can get it out there. Got a little too much turn on that one. Trying not to do a million takes on these. Trying to just do it. See what I can get right off the bat here. Here comes the Savant's turn on a max distance. And that stayed straight. Going to get a little hyzer at the end. Do have some wind blowing. But they were within, I don't know, 5-10 feet of each other. I think about 5 feet. Here's my actual 9-speed driver, my Axiom Insanity. And that got some really nice turn out of it. Good flex shot. That's what I like to do. And here's the distance on that one. This went about 35 feet longer than the Savant and the Undertaker. And that's why it's my distance driver. However, the other ones
Might have been a little user error. Now I'm going to do some headwind tests here. And one thing I do like about both the Savant and the Undertaker, in a headwind, they do hold their line pretty well. Here I am running to get them. I did use multiple Savants and multiple Undertakers on this one. That's why I'm not showing you the flights. Just doing a general measure. And once again, all of them stayed right around pretty much the same distance. Now we're going to see if both of them can hold a hyzer. Here we are on a course. Nice little tight shot that we've got to stay on hyzer for a long time. Here's our Savant holding that line nicely. Thought it would do a little flip up, but it didn't. So we can use that for a hyzer. Same thing with our Undertaker. Did throw it a little bit lower. But once again, they stayed very similar distance. One was a little bit further left. Here I'm going to do a Undertaker Anheuser. And that held the Anheuser pretty well and faded back like it should. And we'll see what our Savant does. Maybe got a teeny touch more Anheuser flight out of that one, but pretty similar. And finally, a forehand test. My forehand is trash, so my buddy Ivan going to help me out here. And once again, he's going to go ahead and throw those sidearms. And once again, extremely similar flight out of both. Thank you, Ivan, for the help. And once again, similar spots.
All right, I have had an opportunity to throw these discs quite a few times. So now it's time to deliver some verdicts to decide which is better. First, let's talk about feel. Both feel incredibly similar. The plastic on both the Undertaker and Savant feel very similar, and both feel very comfortable in the hand. So I guess we've got to split some hairs. On the rim wall of the Undertaker, I feel it's a touch deeper than the rim wall of the Savant. If you don't know what the rim wall is, that's this section of the disc right here. And this feels just a teeny touch deeper. Once again, both feel very comfortable in the hand. I love how both discs feel. Another difference that I discovered on the rim bottom, I don't want to call it a bead, but it's slightly raised here and it feels a touch sharper. So once I felt that and once Ivan told me about it, I did start to feel it. So if you're picky, that might be a turnoff for you. I myself am not that picky. Once again, I felt both of these are very comfortable. So I don't know if I'm gonna pick one, splitting hairs, I guess I would lean a little bit more towards the Undertaker. Feels just a teeny touch more comfortable in the hand. But like I said, I really like how both of these discs feel. And I'm just splitting hairs, making a decision there. Next, let's go to the flight. Both of these discs flew pretty much the exact same. And rightly so, they're the exact same flight numbers, but we all know sometimes they have flight numbers that don't exactly match. So once again, splitting hairs, I feel like I got a teeny touch more distance through all the throws with my Undertaker, and I'm talking like 3 or 4 feet, nothing big. And I felt like with the Savant, I got a little more ground play. So once again, my final verdict is an absolute tie for both of these discs. They fly pretty much the exact same. Yes, there's different runs and things of that nature, but these two discs flew the exact same. And I'm very happy with how both discs threw and how they felt and all that wonderful stuff when I was throwing them at different angles. So I really like both of these discs. So if we have the feel pretty much the same and the flight pretty much the same, we're gonna have to go to some different categories to decide which is which. Let's talk about price first. I didn't do a deep dive on the internet, but I did search it out, and just by and large, I felt like the Savant I found for cheaper prices than the Undertaker, and just as a general thing, I felt the Innova discs were slightly cheaper than the Discraft discs. So if that's a deciding factor for you, I guess you would pick the Savant. If it doesn't matter, once again, these are incredibly similar discs. Next, let's talk about availability. Just doing my internet search when I was looking for price, I found that the Discraft Undertaker was much more readily available than the Innova Savant. On a lot of websites, the Discraft Undertaker was readily available in multiple different plastics, whereas the Innova Savant, I had to do a little more searching to find it, and the one I found the most was the F2 Halo plastic. So the Discraft Undertaker definitely takes the advantage on the availability.
The final factor we're going to judge on is something extremely important, and that's the cool factor. And to be honest, I feel like Discraft definitely has a big advantage right now in the cool factor. And if that's important to you, the Undertaker is going to be your disc. And let's face it, we've all got a disc in our bag that we just bought for the sole purpose that we thought it was cool or it looked cool. So if that's your deciding factor, the Undertaker would be your choice, because will I bag this? Should you bag it as a beginning player? Should you bag it as an expert player? I would be happy to bag both of these discs. Like I said, they fly very similar. I play around a lot of water, and I lose a lot of discs because I am not an expert player. I have an Insanity in my bag right now that's kind of taken up this spot, but I'm definitely going to look into getting both of these as kind of backups and working them into my bag. Both, whatever works out first. Like I said, I'm personally even Steven on both of these discs, so whatever happens, happens. You as a new player, should you bag it? Sure, I think this would be a great disc. Both of them. For a beginning player, once you're starting to work your way up to a 9-speed, I think both of these are amazing choices. As an expert player, if you're out there, congratulations on being great at disc golf. Should you bag it? Absolutely. I think these are both great discs and useful discs for you to have in your bag for various things. So what is the final verdict of this disc battle? Which disc is better? Which should you choose? We're gonna have to call this one a tie. We had to nitpick just to get any difference out of either one of these two discs. I'd love to pick winner. Unfortunately, that's not the case today. This is an absolute tie. So pick either one of these two discs. They're both great discs. I really appreciated trying both of them. Well, that's all I've got for today's video. Thank you so much for the support of the channel. I really appreciate it. And once again, you keep watching them, I'll keep making them. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. Until next time, we'll see you later. Peace.